Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. HappyCattyCrypto here, and we're just diving straight into this one. I really stuck for time at the moment, so I've managed to squeeze this video in. This has been recorded around 9 o'clock last night as to when this video dropped. So, you know, a meteor could have crashed into planet Earth during those hours. So, if this video comes out, it's a fair goodwill to everybody. We did well. But pushing forward, like I was saying, I've managed to get the time to do this video. It's so important that somebody speaks out as to what is currently going on and kind of, I guess, unconfuse things for everybody. The first thing we're going to touch here on this video is the two L1 joint task proposals. There's two up, okay? They are both from the L1 team. What happened was they got this one wrong. As you can see, it's got a spend amount of about, I think it's, so it's got a spend amount. It's got different things. Abstain it. Don't vote for it. You're probably better off just not voting, not paying attention to this one. This is the genuine one that if you're wanting to vote, if that's something you're interested in, this is the one that you're going to want to vote on to have the correct effects because it is actually the correct version. Good to see this go up, but it's also sad to see the same bad actors doing the same things, calling for the release of the entire L1 team. I think this is the third time that they've gone through this now, on top of all of the different Agora techs, and we're going to be getting onto that shortly because there's some crazy stuff that's happened in the background and we need to get this out there. People need to understand what is actually going on. So releasing the entire L1 team, the biggest point that they push on currently is that things are being privatized all by the L1 team. When that's not the case, they are being ordered more or less by the community via governments voting to, perform the tasks that we have voted through, right? Anything that's being built by them is being built for governance, by governance, for the blockchain. So that means we actually own it as a community. Now, if you go in and you look at these for them wanting to release it, like they're saying, oh, you're privatizing everything, you're a bad actor. Now, I'm going to enlighten everybody to something. Recently, we've moved to the Commonwealth. We moved from Agora, and I was very unhappy about this, and I knew there was something sinister behind this to begin with. From what I can tell, from what I've been made aware of, Edward Kim has worked with Bilbo Baggins to get everything moved over to the Commonwealth, as to which Bilbo Baggins and his little crew are the admins of Commonwealth. This is privatization for shady uses. The fact that Edward Kim is involving himself in this really does go to show, where his state of mind is, and realistically that he just doesn't care about people's past actions, where ultimately what you've done in the past, it shows your character. It's your history. You can't avoid it. It will always stick with you. Now, as to them being the admins, as you can see, they've got the Q3 debate pinned, and this is consistently above everything. Now, my biggest issue is this has been privatized for shady uses to benefit them. So what I'm actually suggesting, and I have suggested this to the L1 team, that simply what needs to happen is a new tab needs to be generated here on the left-hand side under governance, and it needs to be Agora. The Agora system needs to be controlled by governance via voting, okay? It doesn't need to be controlled by a specific group of people that are more or less sitting there. It's crazy because everything they're accusing the L1 team of, they're actually doing themselves in the background. They're performing all these kind of sneaky, shady moves. All of this was done to benefit them, and it's disgusting behavior, but I expect no different from people like this because ultimately, like I've said many times before, these people just don't change. When they don't get their way, they throw their toys out of the pram, and then they go full-blown, full frontal, and ultimately, right, so for example, Tobias, the personal attacks that he received from, the bad actors in the sector, ringing up his work and all of those different things, it's disgusting, and this is why people will always struggle, because I have no social identity, I don't have social media, I'm not infatuated with what I look like, so I don't need to put images out of myself. Ultimately, they've managed to get rid of everybody else. Okay, even to a point where people just start working with them because they're sick and tired of having to consistently swim against the current, because that's what these people are like. They won't stop. They'll keep doing what they're doing. And, I'm going to be the only person likely that says no to this USTC stable algo quant team. And I'm saying no for the specific fact that Edward Kim's on it and Bilbo Baggins is on it. Not happy about this. I don't think these two actors are the people that should be, at the forefront of the USTC repeg. I don't want to see bad actors getting to put lines of code in as to which they could bury a backdoor in. We start repegging, we get it's DeFi, right? This is the Wild West, okay? What happens on an exchange when they go bust? Do you get your money back? No. Do you get your crypto back? No. Well, that's the same with DeFi. People need to be very careful as to the people that are being put in with this. It's even Alex as well. It's, you know, you're really pushing the limits with these bad actors that have historically acted bad. And when they don't get their own way or they don't get what they want, what happens? They go on the attack, they go on the full frontal, they start attacking really honest people in the sector and causing serious amounts of damage. There's so much going on at the moment that it's just insane. You've got an opposing L1 team and an L2 team putting forward their proposal once again at the same time. You know, it's dangerous. The reason why I say this is dangerous, right? For example, let's say the community was split 50-50 both ways in whatever multiverse we're talking about right now, and both of them pass. Well, we've just paid out 2 teams to work on one thing. It's, you know, there needs to be a level of respect. What needs to have happened when you're putting up, say, an opposing proposal is when something fails. When a proposal fails, like if this one was to be a no, then you would then put up your proposal and say, well, we're proposing this, we've waited, we've given due time, we're not trying to confuse things. Where it's consistently always around these times, we see the same things, we see the same bad actors. Now, like I was saying, we've got a lot to go over in this video and I'm trying to cover things as fast as I can, but also trying to dive into it as best as I can. So before we dive into this proposal here, because this one's really, really important, this is a huge kind of hurdle that we're at right now, and we need to understand if we're going to walk over it, if we're going to jump over it, if we're going to go around, if we're going to build a bridge, what are we going to do? One thing to note right now is we've got all of these different, you know, proposals up, and we've had these different kind of scam proposals up, and validators can't even be bothered to make a simple vote from their ledger. I mean, if you've got a USB port on your device, you can more or less make a vote wherever you are. I myself even have, you know, the cable which you plug in, which gives you a USB port on your phone, so then I can connect my ledger to it. There's all different ways of doing things, but what we have is just a very lazy validators base that do the very minimal that they can. They don't understand the system, they don't understand the bad actors, and they just simply don't care. They're just here to get the rewards. And, you know, if we suddenly manage to push the price up for them, you know, good job, well done. But ultimately, all of these people just care about Luna, and the reason why is because that's all they've got. Okay, LUNC destroyed all these people. Do they want to see the Luna community? Do they want to see, and you need to ask yourself this, do they want to see LUNC, the coin that destroyed them, prosper? Us repeg USTC? Well, what happens then? Well, Luna becomes ultimately redundant, right? All of those actors, okay, would then see, you know, all of the new people, they've sold all of their USTC and their Luna Classic coins off a long time ago. There's no hope for them. But what they don't want to see is us consume that gap in the market. Okay, Do Kwon's vision was to ultimately bring what he was bringing with Alliance, then Feather JS protocol, and then going for a new algorithmic stablecoin. It's one of those things. It's very, very spooky. So let's move over to this one. What I don't like about this is it's actually not labeled correctly. The running costs and technical support of Terra Classic infrastructure for Q3. Well, this is actually Terra Rebels asking for more funding, again, to fund their Rebel Station system that they created, that they own. We do not own this as a community. The reason why I know we don't own this as a community, because we don't have access to any of the system. No one in the L1 team controls any of the systems that they use. You know, this is really, 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 really shady, the way they've worded this, to act as if, you know, this is actually support for your, you know, for something that you own. It's for you. Okay, then, well, if we own it, let's put a proposal up and let's pass it that they need to hand over the system to the L1 team. They need to post all of the hardware systems, get them delivered to someone at the L1 team that is going to be in, you know, instilled this level of trust. And, you know, everything needs to go to governance. Instead, it's another privatized sector, just like you've seen with the Commonwealth. Okay, this is what we call privatizing, when someone takes a sector of the blockchain and they use it for their own benefit to do what they want to do, and have it benefit them as best as they can. I've casted all of my votes on this, and you can find those votes on LUNC-.com. A lot of people have asked where LUNCpenguins.com went. It is just LUNC-down. We gave it to the community. We didn't want it to be an echo chamber. You can find out everybody's votes on there, and you can find out what people are voting. But the biggest issue is right now, like I was saying, we've got a lot of ban actors that have aligned themselves with a lot of coins. You can see it happening. And there's all these sort of like little small nodes that are popping up and starting to get a good level of voting power between them. And it's scary. It's scary for someone like me, which is one of the last standing kind of honest actors in the space. You know, they've got rid of everybody else, and they'll continue to do what they'll do. They'll continue to fight in the way they continue to fight. A lot of people are going to sit there and they're going to go to the comments and have capital and say, oh, well, you're voting no, and you're holding up, you know, the development of the USTC repeg. We've walked this road many of times, okay? I voted no. I left Terra Rebels a long time ago, but I also voted no every time for this infrastructure, for the wallet creation, for these different levels of control. I've always voted no to this, and I've always been as honest as I can be, and I will always be like that. And the reason why I'm saying no to the USTC repeg is because the team is jacked up, bad actors, and I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy that we're allowing bad actors in, and it's my job as a validator to understand this blockchain, understand the implications of putting people like this and paying people like this to do things. So just before we end here, the reason why privatization is so bad is because we have to continue to pay for the upkeep for a wallet we all use every day. Do people over at Luna have to pay for the upkeep of their wallets? No, of course they don't. Of course they don't. Okay, this is just simple privatization of sectors. We've seen it with Terraport. Okay, what did Terraport do? Well, they took the on-off ramp. Okay, they took the swapping system and they privatized it. They built their own system. They made their own coin. They privatized things. And I think it's about time people start to understand privatization and what this leads to. Like I was saying, there's so much going on and there's so many different proposals up at the moment. Ultimately, it's just getting crazy again, and there's like no level of respect between people. Everybody doesn't want to leave their ego at the door. Everybody wants to act like kids fighting in the playground over toys, and it's like people can't just get together behind the scenes and have mature conversations and actually, you know, talk things out instead of just always going to Twitter and having public arguments with each other. It's pathetic. Honestly, it's pathetic. The 90 people I manage at work, I think the 5 youngest of them are between 18 and 24. They are more mature than all of these people that are involved. And this is going out for the L1 task force too. So if you're listening to me, you know, you guys are getting just as bad again. You know, responding to these bad actors. Well, that's what they want. They want you to respond. They want you to react. This is what they want. This is how you feed them. And people just don't listen. But the one thing I do know is this community here, the people that tune in, every time I put a video up, waiting for those videos to come up, you guys understand. You folks understand. You people understand. You all get it. And that's why you keep coming back to this channel. That's why you keep coming and listening to this content instead of listening to some horse jacked up stuff from some other YouTuber who's just simply there for the money and covers what he wants when he wants, depending on his RPM or her RPM. I'm simply here for this community, okay? Whatever it takes to get us to where we need to be, where we've got good teams in place, I'm going to push, and I'm going to continue to push and keep putting out content which is honest and not just going with the flow of things because everyone's like, yeah, you know, oh, you know, trust me, bro, it'll be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. If we put bad actors into the USTC repeg, what's going to happen? Well, you know, we're likely going to end up with the same situation again like Terra Rebels, where we go for another half a year to a year of just watching a USTC repeg implode on itself. Alex getting jealous that, you know, he can't have his way. Oh, Redline's not going to be able to get what he wants to. You know, all of these different things. We've heard it before. What do they then do? They go and run to Twitter and they make it public and they start attacking each other. It's pathetic. It's ultimately pathetic. And, you know, the L1 team saying, oh, you know, well, we got a social media thing. We'll do it. We'll do it properly. Don't sit there and act like you're supposed to do it or, you know, you are doing it. Just do it. Okay, we don't want to hear you on Twitter. We want to see things happening. We want to see the off-ramps. We want to see the on-ramps. We want to see the smart tax. We want to see all these different things. We want to see the deprivatization of all of these different sectors. You're being paid a lot of money. Get it in gear. Parity's done. We're finished. Let's move forward. The biggest issue at the moment is this USTC repeg team won't work with the L1 team. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. It can't be like this. It's just horrible. Folks, I hope you got some real good information from this, and I hope it shines some light on all of these different kind of crappy proposals that are up, and the junk proposals, the people doing the same things over and over and over again. And what they're banking on, like I said, is just people just ultimately going, well, they're going to be like this forever, so we may as well just do what they want to do. No, don't think like that. Stay strong, stay huddled, stay aware, stay humble. None of this is financial advice. Beware of scammers, beware of doppelgangers, beware of anybody pretending to be me. And guess what? I will catch you in the next one.